guys, it's been one of those weeks, and today I just needed to get out and do something fantastic. So here we are at Fantastic Caverns. Walking up to it, we have a little sign about some of the creatures in here. Here's a blind cave crayfish. Here's a little breakdown of where we'll be going. Cool thing about this cave is that you get to ride through it. Here's a cool feature. You can send a free e-card at this little stand. I don't know anyone's email address right off the top of my head, except my own. And here's something cool about Missouri. I don't know if you guys knew this, but Missouri is actually called the Cave State, with over 6,000 known caves. Don't ask me to tell you how many we don't know about. And if you look down there, you can see the road actually coming out from the cave and around to the visitor center where we are now. Here's something cool. You can turn your ticket into a season pass, just $5. And there is one of the trams itself. That's what we'll be riding in here in about 10 minutes. There's some pictures of people exploring underground, another cave fish there. It says that only 1/3 of this cave can be seen from the public's point of view. Down there we have a poster of Smolin Civil War Cave. I gotta do that sometime this year. A friend of mine actually owns that. I used to work with her at Marvel Cave back in the day. A little bit better view of the entrance from this angle. You can see some icicles hanging down. This cave was actually an illegal nightclub back in the 1920s. That's pretty cool. Ooh, I like her shoes. So here's a better shot of the Jeep we're taking, and since I'm filming, she's actually letting me ride in front. That is so cool. Here we go.
I would say Barbie left that. Like something Barbie would think. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Second low spot, it is considerably lower than the first. Okay, now, if you look up to the ceiling, you'll see some more of these soda straws. And these will grow to about 10 inches. And then at that point, that calcite will begin to clog up this central area, and the water will start to drip down around it, forming what we call stalactites. And that's what all these are, hanging tight to the ceiling.
Oh, I would be nervous driving across this.
Now these two formations are lined up where they could possibly grow together someday and form what we call a column or a pillar. But that's going to take a little while. They estimated that the average rate of growth of the formations in our cave is approximately 1 cubic inch for 100 years. So that's going to take another day or 2 or 3 or 4 before that goes together. When it rains, the runoff water drains down into these sinkholes. The water converges, forming an underground river, and it flows all the way down the 3 miles. It enters our system up here at this mixed sinkhole. Then the water meanders around, it goes under here, it goes down the hill, and it discharges at what we call Indian Spring. And that empties out into our little stock river down there, and the whole process starts again. Now, a lot of people will ask, does your cave ever flood? So when it rains, the water will come in this direction, and it goes out that way. It comes in here, and goes out there. And, you know, when this fills up, it's kind of just muddy and murky. But when it's full like this, it's actually discharging at the spring at approximately 9,000 gallons of water a minute. So that is a lot of water that goes through here. And when it fills up like that, it takes it days to go down. So that is a lot of water. But that's how the cave is formed. Now, it's kind of funny, we'll have school groups come through here or something. And we'll take tours as long as it's not going over the bridge, and it'll be full. And some kid will say, oh, let's jump in for a swim. And I look at him and say, you know what? That's discharging at the spring at 9,000 gallons of water suck you down pretty quick, there'd be no saving it, I would think. I'm not going to try to find out. We have to get about 5 inches of rain before we see any water come through here at all. But on occasion, it will rain for days and days on end, and these will fill up. Water will begin to start spilling over on the bridge, in which case we shut down because we don't float. Now, this cave has never really had a bat population to speak of, but we are home to a handful of what they call the tricolored bat. It's an eastern pipistrelle about the size of my thumb, has a wingspan of 3, maybe 4 inches, and they will come in the cave when it gets cold, and they'll hibernate during the wintertime. Now, unlike most bats, when they go into a cave, they all congregate together. These bats don't do that. They do what I like to say is social distancing. They practice social distancing. You won't find 2 of them together. And a lot of times they'll hide in the little nooks and crannies, and they're real hard to spot. But if you see one, it will look like a hairy chicken McNugget, because that's about what they look like.
Never thought I'd see lightning in a cave.
This is one of the most open sinkholes in the whole fantastic cavern system. It's so open, in fact, that walnuts, the wash in here, make it all the way through the cave. I could do without all the drips, I think, but that's the way the water gets in. And of course, that's not only does water get in that way, that's the way food gets in for the cave animals, and contaminants get in too. I believe the jeeps get in some way other than that, though. Off-road!
The cave was actually discovered in 1862 by a man named John Knox. And Mr. Knox had been out hunting with his dog, and his dog had chased a small animal into a small hole in the side of the hill. Well, Mr. Knox, he called for his dog, and his dog didn't come out, but he could kind of hear it crying. So Mr. Knox goes up to his cabin, gets a candle or a lantern, comes back down, and he's looking at that hole, and he does not like the idea of going into that small little dark hole at all, but he loves his dog. In fact, we have a bronze statue dedicated to this dog. It's in the pavilion area. This dog's name was Juno. Well, a few years go by, and Mr. Knox is thinking, this cave really should be explored. Well, he doesn't want to do it himself because he doesn't like going into these small dark holes. So he placed an ad in the Springfield paper asking for somebody to come explore it. On February 27th, 1867, he gets a knock at the door, and it's somebody there to answer his ad and explore his cave. Now, I would imagine back then, Mr. Knox might have been a little surprised when he opened the door to find 12 teenage girls. And those young ladies were the first ones to explore fantastic caverns. Here are those ladies' names. February 27th, 1867, the first explorers. One of the things they were looking for were caves that had a lot of bat guano. You know what bat guano is? It's bat poo. Ooh, gross, right? But that's what they were looking for. And what they would do is they would come to these caves, they would dig up the soil that contained the bat droppings. They would take that soil and they would put it in these large vats called leaching vats. And then they would take water and they would run it over the top of that soil, and then it would come out down here to the form of like a sludge or a slurry. And then they would take that sludge and they would start cooking it in these large kettles like this. And they would cook it all day long.
Little traffic jam going on here in the cave.
Now the ceiling's going to get kind of low up here, so watch your heads. I'll show y'all something. Do y'all ever look at the clouds and see different things in the shapes of clouds? Everybody does that, right? I like to do that in the cave. Look at my light shining. Does that not look like a bird? Like it's got a white beak and it's going down for a fish? Do you see it? Yeah. It's some kind of fun. This area is what we call the breakdown area of the cave. That's because all these rocks are all kind of broke down. Basically what happened here is when this was the land before time and the water was running through here carving out the cave, the water level would rise and fall and it would saturate the limestone. Over time it saturated it so much it caused it to collapse. And there's 3 areas you can actually see where the rock is broken loose. But the scientists will tell you actually that a cave is a safe place to be during an earthquake. Case in point is back in 1811, the worst earthquake to ever hit North America hit about 300 miles from here. down in the Boot Hill on the New Madrid fault line. This earthquake was so severe, it's been said that it changed the course of the Mississippi River. It's also been said that it was felt as far south as South America. But as severe as that earthquake was, there's no evidence it did anything inside this cave. Now, this area is what we call the Hall of Giants. That's because these are the largest formations in the cave. Of course, we're closer to the surface, more water gets through and drips down on it.
I have a feeling it's about to get cold again.
Now, remember I told you that Mr. Knox loved his dog? I'm going to show you how much he loved his dog. I'm going to show you the hole that he had to crawl in to rescue. When we go out, that hole's going to be here on the side of the bluff. And he crawled in that hole and he would come in along this wall over here on the right. So this would have been the first part of the cave that he saw. Temperature's going to drop. It's going to be cold again. Tell you what. That is the hole where they crawled in. See it? Right there, yeah.
Thank you, that was great.
You're welcome, I'm glad you enjoyed that.
Now we're back out, can kind of see the entrance down there where we just were. I'm gonna go up here, see what we have. And I am now directly over the entrance. And a blue Jeep out here. A little caveman on it. Ah, this must be the dog that discovered the cave right up here. Let's go take a look at him. Here we go, Juno the Bloodhound. 1862. Well, that was fantastic, Caverns. Thank you guys for coming with me. It was a lot of fun. And frankly, I kind of needed it today. Caves are always one of those things that just really makes me relax. So I hope you guys enjoyed it too. So I don't know what's coming up next, but stay tuned. Subscribe if you haven't already. Have a great day. Love you guys, and I will see you next time. Bye.